Welcome to today's episode, my friends, where everything is about probabilities when it comes to these behind me, the toppings. We've covered a ton on toppings, and it's about time we get a little bit more detailed for you on all things toppings. So thank you for tuning in. As always, if you get a question or comment throughout, do let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and feel free to join us in the Discord server. Now, down below, you'll find the timestamps where we break down the probabilities of these toppings, because there's a lot to it here that I think you should know, and additionally, what exactly it takes to get the perfect, the very best topping here in CookieRun Kingdom. So thank you for tuning in. Let's drill into it. So a couple things here. If you did not know this already, which is pretty important anyways, it's nice to know regardless. And finally, why I'm making one of these guides here is when you go look at your toppings, as we always do in our topping guides here, you can get a more detailed breakdown as we show here in the bonus effects. Now, if you click this little window here, it's going to bring you to this page right here, my friends. Boom. This thing, very, 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 very important for you. And this is a load of information. But before we get there, why does it matter? It matters because of these toppings and the bonus effects. As we always walk through each of these pieces for you in our topping guides, our biscuit guides, all that fun stuff, we want to figure out exactly how much it takes to tweak to your heart's content in order to get the perfect topping. And my friends, I won't lie, it's a bit of a doozy, whether you're a new player or returning player or a veteran, as always. Now, as you can see, the resonant toppings are a little bit different, and each rarity of toppings is also different. The bonus effects here are much easier to tweak, to be fair, on the resonant toppings. And you can see that there because the band is closer. So the attack 2% to the 3%, and we're going to show that here in a minute. So these are very, very important things, whether you're tweaking your cookie for PvE or PvP, or just making it a perfect cookie with perfect toppings. And don't forget, perfect biscuits at some point. So stay tuned for that. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to click over here so that you can understand what exactly is going on when it comes to this. So Dev Sisters has actually done a very nice job. I really enjoy the fact that they post all these statistics publicly. It's actually been out since May 2022. So if you haven't seen that, now you have. Now, a couple things about this. They round bonus effect values before are displayed rounded up to the nearest whole number. However, the actual values are applied to the 100th decimal point. After, when they did their update, bonus effect values are displayed rounded up to the nearest whole number. However, the exact values will be applied in the game. So a little bit different there. Now, additionally here, they've added missing value ranges to the table. Before it was a flat 1%. Now it's a 1 to less than 1.1%. And then additionally here, before 3%, after exactly 2.9 to 3%. So all this stuff does matter. Now, whenever you upgrade a topping to +6, +9, or +12, you can randomly get a bonus effect. However, don't forget, each time you'll get a different one. So this is a little bit different than the biscuits as well. So wanted to make you aware of those pieces. Now, the nice thing about this is, in terms of mathematics, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply each of these things against what it needs to be in order to get you your calculation of success there. Now, there's a number of things that have to happen in order to make it hit. So don't forget, and we'll talk about that here in a second. And important chances to get a certain effect value remain the same across the whole value range. Bonus effects are displayed rounded up to the nearest whole number. However, the exact values will be applied in the game. For instance, if you equip 2 toppings having attack plus 1.04%, the actual applied will be 2.08 in the game. However, you will see plus 1% for each of those toppings. So again, very, very small nuances there in terms of that tweak. The reality is, if you get the best, you get the best all the way at the top. So we'll keep it short and simple from that perspective. Now, here are the bonus effect probabilities. Like I said, at the different rarities, they are different. So common chances of appearance are going to be 16.67%. Chances of appearance there also Again, we have 5, 6 different ones. That's why I got the 16.67. And then as we get to the epic, it goes to 10 because we have more in it. So you have 10 different things in terms of appearance. Now, similar to resonant here, resonant, there's 6. It's attack, attack speed, crit, cooldown, damage resist, crit resist. Again, you're back to that 16.66. Now, here is something that's important to keep in mind. In statistics, what's going to happen is if you've already got attack, we already know that we can't get the same bonus effect. So what that does is that's going to remove that and lift the other percentages here. So you have to keep that in mind as you're multiplying your statistics. So in order to get something like an attack, defense, HP, you're going to have to make that in terms of that statistical multiplication. You're going to have 90 or 100% chance spread against 9, 100% chance spread against 8 in terms of what that will be. So it will be actually more than a 10 times 10 times 10% chance to get you the cookie exactly as you want with those particular substats. Now, once you get those substats, though, it gets even more complicated because we now have the effect of the values. And as I showed there, that range, this shows you the exact same range on the table in order to get you where you need to be and what that's going to take. Now, you have to remember it's going to be rounded up here, but the reality is you can actually get something in between there. However, the good news is if you do get 3%, it's not actually fully 3%. So the reality is of getting that cookie, there's a multitude of them. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry, my friends. And you can see that all the way across the top. The world may never know. I'm just kidding. So those are all very, very important pieces to understand of those points in particular. Now, the good news is, and this is the best news that you'll find here, is that they did not make it harder. And what do I mean by that? They didn't make it harder as the spread went across. They could have weighted the lower level percentages higher, but they did not. They actually kept it flat, which is in your advantage in terms of getting some of these higher statistical probabilities. A flat 5% spread across the whole thing is a very, very nice thing for you. So essentially, instead of 10 levels, there's 20. That's why it's 5%. 10 levels here, as you can see on the right. And additionally, when you get damage resist, cooldown, amplify buff, debuff resist on the common, it's weighted higher because, again, there's a lower band in terms of where that goes. Now, as we see epics get spread a little bit more here, as you can see, and how that works. And then again, down here, the best things are cooldown, debuff resist, amplify buff, crit. The hardest one is actually damage resist. So not only once you get a damage resist, it is spread so far, the probability of really, really getting a high damage resist is 2%, and it gets worse. So, well, it's not weighted, but it gets worse because it's just harder to get relative to the other ones, which is crazy. So keep that in mind. That is how powerful and how important that damage resist is on your cookies in terms of the substats and regular statistics that you want to get. And when you're on solid almond, think about it from that perspective of getting that additional damage resist and the importance of the weight that it gets in the substats, which is kind of crazy to think about. Now, when we do see the resonant toppings, this is why resonant toppings are so important. Here you got attack speed, crit, cooldown, and damage resist. The damage resist goes from a 2% to up to a 6.67%. You have about a 3x better chance of moving it to that 6% than a 2% chance there on the regular toppings. Well, really epic, but regular toppings versus the resonant. That is how incredible and a big difference these toppings make in order to see your success and be successful. And then similar here, you got the 10% versus a lot of these other ones that are at 5. Some of it's at 10 as well, as you can see there, but the cooldown's at 20%, which is really, really nice. So all those things, like it says, the probabilities are rounded to the 100th decimal place. So in order to calculate whatever perfect topping you want, this is going to be the formula that you're going to follow. So first and foremost, we have to take that probability into chance of the removal depending on which one we're getting. So again, it's going to be 3. You're going to remove 3. You're going to take a 16% chance, essentially times a 20% chance, essentially times a 25% chance. So if we go ahead and we grab our calculator here, there we go. This is exactly how you're going to get there. You're going to go 0.1666 times, again, remove 0.2 times, again, remove 0.25. So that will give you your probability of getting all 3 of appearances on a resonant. And it only gets worse, my friends. So in order to figure out what that is, if we times that by 100, you're not even get a full 1% chance. It's about 8 in 1,000 in order for you, 8 of 1,000, to get the exact likelihood of what you want. So keep that in mind. Very, very important there. Then on top of that, you're going to want to have to hit each of these variables at the highest point. So let's say we do our best, and on top of that, it's going to be one of the easier ones. So we got a 5%, a 10%. So we could do 2 10%. And another 10. Well, actually, let's do this because we're on resonance. So a little bit better. You can do 20, 10, 10, 6.5. So that makes it the worst. But if we did that this way, it will tell you exactly what it takes to get a perfect one. So if we go 0.1 times 0.1 times, we'll say another 0.1 because the 20 is in there too. Oop, there we go. 0.1. That's 1 out of 1,000 is essentially what that is. So let's times that by 1,000. There you go, 1. So we had 8 out of 1,000, okay, times the 1 out of 1,000. So here we go. So if we go 0.8 divided by 1,000 gets us back to where we're at, times the 1 out of 1,000, which would be this, times 0.001. is this. Now that is remove it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's like what, 66 would be 5 zeros, 50,000. So if we times, or 10,000, 100,000, times this by 100,000, not even enough, a million. There it is. Times 1 more is going to give us a million. 8 out of 1,000,000 to get that particular combination. So that is exactly how it works in terms of the math for you. So it's a lot. Really, really crazy to think about it in terms of how hard it is to get a perfect topping. So my friends, that is all she wrote for today in terms of the bonus effects and chances with your topping upgrades. I hope you enjoyed today's episode as we broke these things down for you, and ultimately the why it matters when it comes back to this right here. When you're trying to tweak someone like golden cheese cookie and the toppings, those are the bonus effects. Those are the bonus effect chances and the ability to get one. It's almost 1 in a million essentially to get a perfect topping. That is a ton of re-rolling, my friends, and a lot of work there for you regardless. So don't forget, it's that 1 remove in terms of that statistic, and then each of those pieces times as well at that perfection, and then multiply again. Lots of multiplication when it comes to this. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We gave you the total breakdown of the bonus effect skills, the probabilities, where to find them, and ultimately the chances it is and the amount it takes in order to get you the perfect topping. If you still got a question, if you got a comment, let me know down below because I'd love to hear from you as always. On top of that, feel free to join us in the Discord server, my friends. We have a ton of fun in there all the time. And with that, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Thank you for the likes and the subs as we grow this amazing community here. On top of that, my friends, thank you to all of our members. Memberships are a great way to support the channel. They give you emotes, icons, all kinds of other fun things, priority, and other ways to chat and at. And with that, we do have socials to remind you to feel free to chat and at me along with it. And also affiliate links, something there for everyone. As always, if you're looking, I appreciate it, and I appreciate staying connected in all the ways you support the channel. With that, good luck, my friends. I'm a long ways away from the perfect topping. Hopefully you are not, and if you got one, feel free to add me because I'd love to see it. With that, best of luck in your topping upgrades here. We'll see you again soon. Keep on running, my friends. Keep on running. Take care.